If you think the crypto war is all about speed, you are about to lose the race for the next financial standard. You see, for years, critics have claimed that public blockchains just couldn't handle serious institutional money because they were way too transparent.
And you know what? They were absolutely right. The founder of the world's largest exchange, Binance, just confirmed it himself. Privacy is the missing link. I mean, think about it. You can't run a global business if your competitors can see your entire playbook, your payroll, your vendor payments, everything, right there on chain.
But here's the twist. While the rest of the market was distracted, arguing about maxi culture and chasing transaction speeds, the XRP Ledger was quietly building the one weapon that could win this war. So by the end of this explainer, you're going to understand the strategic checkmate XRP just delivered to solve the unsolvable equation: institutional privacy on a public chain.
All right, here's our battle plan. We're going to start with the huge problem that everyone thought was unsolvable. Then we'll dive into XRPL's genius solution, the exact activation timeline for this new weapon, and finally, the legal catalyst that is about to pour gasoline on this fire.
Okay, first up, let's really break down the fundamental barrier that has kept trillions, and I do mean trillions, of institutional dollars sitting on the sidelines. We're talking about the institutional privacy gap.
This slide right here lays out the core conflict perfectly. On one side, you've got the huge problems with public chains, exposed payrolls, visible vendor payments. I mean, it's a data mining goldmine for your competition. And on the other side, you've got what institutions actually need: total transaction confidentiality, counterparty privacy, and rock-solid regulatory compliance. These two worlds were just incompatible. Well, until now. And listen, this wasn't some small niche issue. We're talking about the biggest names in finance, from Deutsche Bank and its Project Flaw to JP Morgan publishing report after report on institutional DeFi. They've all been screaming from the rooftops that this privacy gap was the final barrier to entry. So this is the crucial part. How did the XRP Ledger engineer the solution while everyone else was still just talking about the problem? That brings us to Section 2, XRPL's compliant architecture, the strategic checkmate.
And here it is. The solution is just brilliant. Permissioned domains. Think of it like this. The XRP Ledger is a public superhighway, right? Well, these domains are private, encrypted HOV lanes on that highway. They let banks use the incredible speed and settlement of the public ledger, but with the total confidentiality of a private vault. It is literally the best of both worlds. Okay, before we go any further, I need to be crystal clear. If you are watching this without a subscription to Crypto Global News, you are missing the critical alerts. The institutional flood that's about to follow these moves will not wait for you. Click subscribe right now to stay on the timeline.
Now let's move on to Section 3 and see how this all builds into a fully compliant trading environment. This is the permissioned DEX, and believe me, the countdown to its activation has already begun. Now, this is not some future theoretical discussion. This is happening right now. The first piece of the puzzle, those permission domains we just talked about, is already live on the mainnet. And the final piece, the permission DEX that lets institutions trade privately inside those domains, activates in less than 48 hours. So how does a regulated trade actually work in this system? It's a beautifully simple three-step process. First, vetted, fully KYC'd counterparties join a private domain. Step 2, they execute their trades privately, completely shielded from the public eye. And Step 3, the final settlement happens on the public ledger, but the critical details, who traded what for how much, all of that remains confidential. It's a perfect, compliant, walled garden. So the technology is officially ready to go. The real question is, who's going to be the first to jump in? Do you have any thoughts on which institution will be the first to use this new infrastructure? Drop your analysis in our YouTube community post. Let's really get into it and debate it.
All right, so the tech is in place. Let's move to Section 4 and look at what this actually means for the future of finance as we move way beyond theory and into actual practice.
Look, this is so much bigger than just trading. This architecture is the foundation for an entire regulated financial ecosystem built on-chain. We are talking regulated trading, tokenized real-world assets, private cross-border payments, and fully compliant financial workflows, all of it built on this brand new infrastructure. And hey, for all of our viewers in the United States, this is absolutely critical. You need to keep a very, very close eye on the upcoming Clarity Act being debated in Washington. And why is that? Because it could provide the direct legal green light for this exact type of compliant
on-chain financial infrastructure.
Which brings us to our final and maybe the most powerful piece of this entire puzzle, the legal catalyst. Let's talk about Section 5, the regulatory multiplier. This is where law meets technology. And hey, don't just take my word for it. An industry leader, Ashish Birla of Evernorth, has gone on the record saying the Clarity Act will have a multiplier effect on institutional adoption. You put this technology together with the right legislation, and what you get is an absolutely explosive combination for growth.
This whole situation is developing in real time. The activation is just hours away. The legislative pieces are moving. The fastest way to get our intel as the story breaks is by joining the private Telegram channel. You can scan the QR code on your screen or just use the link in the description. So, let's bring this all together. The war for the next financial standard. It was never really about speed. It was about solving the paradox of privacy and compliance. And with this new architecture now active, XRP hasn't just entered the race. It feels like it may have already crossed the finish line while everyone else is still tying their shoes.
This leaves us with one final crucial question to think about as we look to the future. With the two biggest hurdles, privacy and compliance, now officially solved, what is the next barrier for mass institutional adoption? Or is there even one left? Now, as promised, if you really want to see the power of a regulatory multiplier in action, you have to check out our analysis on how the Genius Act completely transformed the stablecoin market. Click the card on your screen, right here.
But don't go anywhere, because in our very next briefing, we're going to be revealing which major financial institution is secretly piloting this exact technology right now. Stay tuned.
Stay ahead in the crypto market. Subscribe now for the latest global news and updates.